All right, so we're going to do a quick video on how you can train an AI agent on Pitchit to answer product pricing questions, basically give a quote, and then have a strong call to action to book a meeting with a human, and effectively qualify someone's intent to buy all throughout that conversation. And so we're going to start with some nice starter copy here. The AI agent has a greeting, and we're going to make a couple of assumptions here. We're assuming that this is a lead who recently came through a form fill or an ad. Again, because the whole conversation here is around, is this something available? What does it cost? Do I want to buy it or not? And so that's a pretty safe assumption that this is a lead from a CRM or it's coming from a marketing funnel. The other assumption we're making is that this conversation is happening in voice, text, email, or WhatsApp. I do realize that this browser window makes it look like this is a live chat conversation, and that's the only available option. But the reality is that the AI agent that we've trained only is available in inbound, outbound voice, SMS, email, and WhatsApp. I only show it in this browser because it's easier to demonstrate it, because at every step of a conversation, I can kind of break down the JSON file that shows all the logic of the AI agent, plus I can explain more around why it said what it said, and just give context and scenarios to anyone who's watching. And so that's why we have it in the browser, but you should imagine this exact identical conversation being had in a live voice call or SMS or email or WhatsApp. The final assumption here, again, is that it is a salesperson, because we are quoting pricing and we are trying to qualify someone's intent to buy before offering to book a meeting. And so that's generally a salesperson's job, which is why we've instructed the AI agent that it's supposed to function like a salesperson. The final bit is that I did give it an identity. So I gave it the T-Mobile identity with T-Mobile pricing. That's just for demonstrative purposes. You could train it on being a broker, on being someone who sells water, gas, electricity, someone who doesn't sell internet or telco products at all, whatever, right? This is just a demonstration. And so I had to pick one. So let's jump in. Here's a nice greeting. So hi, this is your authorized T-Mobile dealer. You requested a quote and we'd like to follow up. To get started, can you tell me which products you're interested in? You could ask this in so many different ways, but this is a nice one because it really tees up the replies to be almost entirely focused around product names. And so let's say I want home internet, right? So I'm just going to reply. I, by the way, am making one final assumption that I am the recipient or the lead that the business T-Mobile is trying to market to. So I'm going to function as the recipient who's looking to buy home internet in this conversation. So I'm going to say home internet. What is happening here is the AI agent has now looked up the pricing in its vector database for what is available at T-Mobile today. What are the price plan names? What are the prices? What are some of the features inside of it, right? And so it says we have 3 home internet plans: home internet plus for $75 a month, home internet unlimited for $55 a month, and a backup for $25 a month. And now on the bottom left, what's happening is the AI is effectively in qualifying the intent by scoring the lead. So it says the lead's hot. We do have a couple of different scores, cold, warm, hot. 0.8 out of 10. And then the explanation, the user has specified a specific interest in home internet, indicating that there's a clear intent to discuss a plan or subscription. So it's not as high as it can be. A 10 out of 10 is super, super high. But an 8 out of 10 is also pretty high, because if you're reading this conversation contextually, right, this lead is clearly teed up for basically getting a meeting booked. And that is why the AI agent has qualified their intent as being high and has offered a meeting time. So it ends the conversation not just by answering the question and not saying anything, but by answering the question and then a call to action, which is exactly what a trained salesperson would do. So it answers the question, then it says, may I have your preferred time for the call? Let's say 9 a.m., right? It's going to look up the call center's availability on the back end. So it's now fetching the API for when a call center might be open. It comes back and the call center is open at 9 a.m. And so it's proceeding by asking for their time zone. I'm going to say Central Time. And now the AI agent should have everything it needs to actually book a meeting. It knows that you want home internet, that this pricing is completely acceptable because you've made no objections, and that you want a meeting at 9 a.m. Central. And it should then book a meeting, which it looks like it did. So it says, thanks for your response. We'll call you at the preferred time. Now you'll notice that the score is up to a 10 out of 10, which is obviously as high as it can go. Super, super hot lead. And that's because we've talked about the product. We've talked about a preferred time for a call. We gave our time zone. We obviously were teed up with the context of wanting a quote. And so there's really a strong indication here that this lead is super hot. This is kind of all the other things that are being dispositioned in the call. So when do they want to meet? What's the explanation around why we picked this particular time in Chicago as the time zone, etc. And so this all basically gets webhooked out and stored in your CRM. And then it would basically post into your CRM all of these messages, and all of the information about the lead score could be used to update the contact in your CRM. So that can all happen in the background. Additionally, in the background, what would happen is the AI agent in this case is almost always trained to actually book a meeting and send that meeting reminder to me, in this case, the person talking to the AI agent. And then you've got two options with Pitchit, at least with our platform. We allow you to schedule meetings with humans. And so it would basically book a meeting with a human at T-Mobile at 9 a.m. Central, who would then show up to like a Zoom or a Teams or a Hangout call. Or the second option is for an AI agent to actually make the call. And so no human shows up from T-Mobile side, but they do call me, the recipient, at 9 a.m. Central with an AI voice agent, outbound dials me. When I answer the phone, it would effectively just offer to transfer the call now, and it would state a greeting that says that you asked us to call you at this time and does now still work, right? Or would you like to reschedule for later today? And so that is end-to-end a really quick demonstration on how an AI agent on Pitchit can be used to do price quoting and qualify intent to buy, as well as a little bit of extra credit to show you some examples of how we could update your CRM automatically with call dispositioning. Thanks for watching.